o.z.o.r.a 2024. I had 3 LSD experiences, 1 mushroom experience, and around 5 to 6 low to medium dose Changa experiences. For some people that might sound like a lot, and for others it might sound like not much at all for such a crazy festival. Hey, I'm Virgo and this is Psychedelic Actualization. On this channel we talk about topics like self-realization, self-actualization and working with psychedelics to live a more authentic and fulfilling life. And the use of psychedelics at festivals is very interesting. In this video I want to share a mumble-jumble trip report of all of these experiences that I had at o.z.o.r.a 2024. Let's just jump in. And it's an interesting question, right? What I mentioned. Was it too many trips? Was it too many psychedelic experiences in such a short amount of time? And it's an interesting question and I'm not sure, because it did feel like an experience overload. It was a lot of experience to take in. I mean, even like one intense LSD experience in 1 week is like, it's a lot to take in, and it takes time to settle into the integration of those experiences. And all of these experiences, while being in such a crazy setting, was a lot to take in. For me personally, it didn't feel like too much. I felt fine during all of my experiences and even afterwards. But I did notice something regarding the integration of those experiences. And that is that I was not able to fully grasp and get the most out of all the juicy insights I had during those experiences, because there were just too many of them, and I didn't make the mistake, because there are no mistakes in my reality, but I missed the opportunity to journal about them. So for the next time I'm doing such a bundle of experiences, I might want to improve my integration by taking time to journal about my insights, to sit with them on the next day or in between those experiences at the festival, because it was such an overload of experience and I forgot a lot of those insights. And still, then there's another question which we're going to talk about in another video of like, do I have to even integrate all of them? But one practice I've found for integration which helps me most is coaching. That's why I'm passionate about offering coaching to psychonauts. I'm helping them to discover and actualize their life purpose so they can live in alignment with who they truly are. If that resonates with you, check out the link in the video description. Let's jump in. And it's just going to be difficult to describe everything. As I said, I forgot a lot, but I'm just gonna mention key experiences and insights that I enjoyed most and that I got out of these experiences, from LSD all the way to the Changa experiences. Let's start with the LSD. I did enjoy the carbon-based life forms live concert. Beautiful experience, and beautiful to hear them live during the LSD peak. And it was a beautiful experience. And a friend of mine gave me this little dragon that you could play with in your fingers and throw out your fingers. And I'm playing the big one, but I haven't been practicing too much. And during that experience, I got this insight, this just like gentle reminder that mastery requires attention and loving awareness. Mastery requires practice. Obviously, it requires practice, right? It's such a simple reminder, such a simple insight, but I forgot. And it's not that I forgot, but it's like this appreciation of prioritizing what you're putting your awareness into. If it's a video game, you're going to be mastering that video game. If it's playing around with a toy for playing with fire, it's going to be that. If it's going to be shooting videos like I'm doing right here, it's going to be that. But there's a limited energy and a limited awareness that we can direct into certain areas and practices each day. That's just the reality of it. And to appreciate these nuances of prioritizing and then practicing with joy that which you have chosen to prioritize. That was a beautiful insight that I remembered. Also, I did feel throughout the whole week a little bit weak and sick. I have done another video about an update regarding my sickness, and even there was a consideration of like, okay, I'm feeling sick. Do I want to go into intense psychedelic experiences during festival, right? It's going to be heavy for the body. And I felt it was heavy for the body. Even in the experiences itself, I felt like I could feel the exhaustion, I could feel the sickness in my body, but it didn't negatively impact my trips too much. It was present, I noticed it, but it wasn't getting worse afterwards. Well, it was getting worse, but I think that was because of all the bacteria and viruses around at o.z.o.r.a. and all those festivals, but it was okay. It was okay. But it was definitely present. One big part that I'm excited about sharing, which is kind of the core, I guess, of this trip report, is I loved being alone. So I went there alone on the festival. I know I knew many people there, I had many friends around, but I went there alone by myself. And also to make the choice to go into psychedelic experiences alone in such an incredible setting. It was something that was new to me, but which I do feel very comfortable with. And it was a great teacher, right? I loved it. I loved being alone because it's kind of, I took it as a practice to trust myself, to go with the authentic flow of my desire and be in my center and be in the enjoyment of my experience of life, wherever I am, with whomever I spend time with. And that was a beautiful experience, a beautiful practice, right? To answer these questions in the moment. Where do I want to be? Who do I want to spend time with? When I am meeting people, how much time do I want to spend with them until I part again? And not to have these confinements of group dynamics was very beautiful, because sometimes in a group it can feel like you're attached to the group and you don't want to leave the group because you came there together and there's certain kind of expectations. But I loved this freedom that I had by being alone and being by myself, even in my psychedelic experiences, starting and ending them alone. There was a nice practice of practicing my own confidence in the psychedelic space in such a setting. And I loved it. I loved it. I was truly, deeply enjoying myself. And I'll come to what I enjoyed in a bit. And also, regarding this being alone is also an aspect, right? Because there are so many people around, of meeting new people. And having conversations and engaging with people on psychedelics. That's something also, I don't know about you, but it's something that's new for me, because most of my experiences are alone. As you see here on this channel, I do many solo trips alone in my bed with an eye mask, with an headphone, going deep inside. That's my usual common setting for an experience. So meeting new people and engaging in conversations while being in a psychedelic experience is always very interesting for me. And also a new experience and a practice, again. A practice, and that is something I've been noticing over the past years for myself, of understanding the concepts of introversion and extroversion. It's a little bit of like funky concepts in my mind, because in my perception back then and still now, I feel like I was always shy, I was always retreating back, not being confident enough to engage in conversation. And engaging and practicing that, to engage in conversation with my true authentic self, to express that in each and every conversation, and also to be comfortable with not engaging if I don't feel like it. So if I'm sitting somewhere alone by myself, just enjoying my little experience, and there's people around me, I do not have to engage in them, with them. I do not have to approach and start a conversation, because I feel comfortable in myself. And that was just a beautiful deepening and embodying of that insight, of that confidence within myself, and of this confidence to trust my own authentic desire if I want to engage and approach with somebody, and then being comfortable practicing conversations and small talk while being on psychedelics. It's like, it's a whole thing. It's new territory for me. It's fun, a very fun experience, and also to be comfortable alone. So that was about this experience. One thing I have to include in this mumble jumble trip report experience is that I noticed for myself that LSD tolerance is not working as it should. So I know people, I've talked to people, and it's common in the literature that there is a tolerance building up with LSD. So if you take one tab right today, tomorrow you should take 2 to have the same effects, to have the effects of 1 basically. You need to double the dose each day. That's kind of the theory behind it. And I had one top on the first day. I did take 1 day break, but it's people say it takes like up to 5 to 7 days for the tolerance to decrease. And then 1 day break, and then the next day I kind of knew that I didn't have this tolerance, and I just took 1 3/4 of a tab. So almost 2, not even double the dose. And it was an experience that was way more intense than the first one. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. Just an interesting observation that the LSD tolerance is not working for me. How's it for you? I would love to know. Let me know in the comments section down below. And then I took a day break again. Then I took some mushrooms, just also a low dose. I always stuck with low to medium doses, not going too extreme, too far out. And then I had a break again and engaged in LSD again last day. And it's again, I think about this finding the balance for yourself. You know yourself, where your limits are, with which experiences you feel comfortable with. And it's just like a heartfelt recommendation, which many people and many responsible psychonauts are following, and some people are not following too much. But it's a heartfelt concern and recommendation from me to look at your health. Look at your body, listen to your mind. Is it truly aligned to go into another experience after the one yesterday and the day before, right? Did I have enough rest? Did I have enough good food? Did I have enough sleep? All of these are considerations while you find your own balance of how often to engage in a psychedelic experience at a festival. And one more observation is, which is an interesting one, a new one for me as well, is that sometimes I noticed during an LSD experience throughout the week that it made me sloppy. Because one of my intentions of going into those experiences at the festival was to integrate some insights I had from an ayahuasca experience regarding awareness, putting awareness into every single situation. And still, even though LSD kind of increases awareness, if we can even say increase, but it definitely changes like the perception and the amount of consciousness, right? But this is for the first time that I felt that I got sloppy a little bit. I got like, I don't know, it's, for example, I bought some blueberries or whatever and I put them into my backpack without considering that there's a book in the backpack and the blueberries might smash and now I have a book full of blueberries, right? It's like, and you get a little bit sloppy, of course, because it's like, it's a bit, but I mean on a deeper level, I got sloppy with myself, with awareness itself. I was at times less aware in the LSD experience, just flowing around and fumbling around at the festival, than in my sober state. And that's an interesting observation that I've never made before. I don't know what to do with that information or with that observation, but it's just an interesting observation. And still in many other experiences, right, and in solo experiences especially, LSD does not make me sloppy. It's like there's a core intention to give full awareness to the experience that is unfolding. But here, I noticed some sloppiness. And other key experiences, we're almost at the end and we're almost at the Changa, hang on, the Changa is coming. Other key experiences I do truly enjoy and that I were kind of highlights from me was one, the art gallery, just spending hours and hours and hours upon hours on the peak of an LSD experience in the art gallery. That was one of my main intentions. I loved it. And this year there was like a huge electricity ball in the middle of the art gallery which was playing these crazy sounds. And I walked in there to just have my art experience and this thing like popped up spontaneously and was going wild. Deeply enjoyed that. Very fascinating. Perfect feature for people tripping. And just immersing myself in art, right? And seeing like there were so many pictures, seeing which ones resonate with me and then staying with them. Staying with them for minutes over minutes over minutes and really letting the art of some artists come to life. And do some eye gazing with characters on those pictures, on those very psychedelic, visionary pictures and paintings, or just like, yeah, enjoy the art. Oh, I love this. Someday in the future, I want to have an art gallery. I'm very much a fan of minimalism and keep my amount of material things that I own minimal, but I do imagine myself in the future having a art gallery of the most inspiring, touching, visionary art I have ever seen, and then just like engaging with it on psychedelics. This is such a fun experience. Beautiful. Next one, there was this one visual animation, similar to art, right? But it was an animation which was absolutely incredible. I deeply enjoyed this. There's a video of this right here, you can watch it. And I just sat there smoking some mapacho, doing some rapé, just deeply looking into this. I could look for hours, and I did. Truly enjoyable. Right, the art. One other fun experience was in the Chambok house. There's like presentations and talks from people who are presenting some ideas or perspectives on certain different areas of life and reality. And usually I'm in there, and I will spend some time in there a lot actually, but sober, just to take in the information. And it's a bit like dark and a chill thing, and maybe like a place to take a nap sometimes if the presentation is not as good. Yeah. But this day I had an LSD experience. I engaged in an LSD experience. I remembered Carl, my friend Carl was giving a presentation. I really wanted to see it. So I went there and I watched his presentation while peaking on LSD, and his presentation was fantastic. I love his talks. I can highly recommend you check it out. There's a link in the description, and there's a picture right here, right? But I love his talks, and it was packed and very condensed and very, wow, just like a lot to take in, and then just sober, a lot to take in, and then taking all of that in, all the ideas about hyperhumanism and different kind of ideas was very inspiring, and just like even deeper appreciation of that. Lastly, I guess I have to mention some performances. I guess I'm a very unique person, right? I do not enjoy this psytrance too much, which you might have expected when you clicked on this video. But I do more enjoy other kind of performances, especially at those psytrance festivals, because this heavy electronic music, I haven't found my way into this. Not yet. Maybe a time will come, but not yet. So there was this one guy playing with a mouth harp, the band. I don't even know what the style of music is called or what the band was called, but I stumbled into them and I deeply enjoyed that. Equilibria, a fire show, deeply inspiring, just like the mastery of playing with fire, playing with these toys while standing on a burning slackline, which is just like a couple centimeters wide. It's like insane just to be able to witness this level of mastery regarding some certain things. Makoto-san was one I enjoyed, and some gypsy bands, and also Besh Odrom was a band I really enjoyed. There was this one guy playing with the drums, and I have never seen anybody play the drums so fast. Like my hands can't even like vibrate that fast in the amount of speed he played with this little drum. And I stumbled into his roommate, and I was standing behind his beside his roommate, and coming back to the practicing and the inside of mastery, right? I was just like so impressed with it, and he was sharing, yes, but it doesn't take too long. It doesn't take too much. It's just a continuous practice and staying consistent with your practice. And he is practicing 1 hour a day. 1 hour a day to get to this level of mastery. Maybe it might take 5 to 10 years, maybe 20, maybe a couple of decades, right? But you will get to a level of mastery if you stick to one thing that you're passionate about and practicing 1 hour a day. Amazing. And I guess that is the key part that I take from these experiences at o.z.o.r.a, all of these psychedelic experiences. It's the appreciation of beauty, the appreciation of the beauty of the mastery of the other. If it's a performance, a musical artist, a DJ, a painter, right, an artist, or just like the people crafting these little details that are all around this psychedelic playground. All of this appreciation of the beauty is just like, what else is there to do than just to appreciate reality? Beautiful. And then also the appreciation of the nature around, the beautiful sunsets and sunrises and the connections in between human interactions. All of this. Let's come to the Changa. Last little bit, just 1 minute. It's not much to share. The Changa experiences have been very beautiful. I shared it with some people who have been experiencing it for the first time. Usually I go outside of the festival grounds, far away from all the noise, to share the experience. That's what I did. And usually when I share, I take like a tiny hit of Changa. So that's been some experiences. And I do truly enjoy it. It was a good remembrance. I've taken a long break from Changa and DMT, which just naturally occurs for me at times. But this low dose was really like a remembrance of like, oh wow, this feels really good. Like Changa for me, especially in those lower doses, just taking 1-2 hits, not going too far out, and just sitting with it in a little bit of meditation, it just feels really, really good for me. And my body feels good, my mind feels quiet, and my spirit feels exhilarated, right? It's fantastic. I do truly enjoy those low doses. It was a good remembrance, and it inspired me to go into some other Changa experiences throughout the week for myself. One was Anushka Shankar. I couldn't miss that opportunity. You can watch the trip report of that Changa experience right here. It's a bit of a longer one. And also one other person in the evening offered me Changa. And just like random group of people, and I took it, and it was a different kind of Changa. Usually I just smoke my Changa, and it's been that way for years, and I haven't tried too many other Changa from other people. And I tried his Changa just like in this little chill camp group experience, and it was a very different experience. That was very interesting. It was just like 2-3 minutes long, so very short, but it completely took me out of my body. And it was very colorful. It has been way more colorful than many of my other DMT experiences. But there was just like this colorful smash of something going on. I do very playful. I did truly enjoy it, but I couldn't really grasp anything out of it. But when I came back, I just truly enjoyed also being in this group. The appreciation for the group, which is also something new for me because, as I said, many of my experiences, especially DMT and Changa, have been alone in the forest, alone at home, and not too much in group settings. And I might prefer that, right? Being alone and really, it's a different kind of experience, and it's my preference. But I slowly, in my journey nowadays, I slowly come to appreciate and see the beauty also of engaging in those kinds of experiences, maybe some like low to medium dose Changa experiences as well, in group settings, in a group, got one after the other going into such an experience. There's a connection forming, and I think there's nothing wrong with it, but I'm going to talk about the recreational use of Changa at festivals and of psychedelics at festivals or in general in another video. Stay tuned for that. Okay, good. That was it. I tried to keep the pace going to, I don't know, just like not bore you too much, but that was all my psychedelic jib jam of the o.z.o.r.a Festival 2024. I hope you enjoyed it. And now the integration part was for myself leaving o.z.o.r.a, going to a rainbow festival, rainbow gathering. Sorry, it's not, festival is not the right word for that kind of gathering. Not, at least for me, not. And it was beautiful just spending a lot of time in nature, not working, not having to have any responsibilities, but just settling into my authentic self and self-expression. Integration and decompression, I guess, is very important. Many people who have been going to a lot of festivals have been sharing that with me, that it is a crucial part, right? Especially for many people whose daily life is much different than their festival life. For me, it's kind of the same. There's not much of a difference. But integration and decompression is very important and crucial to look after yourself, to see how can you integrate some of the experiences you've had, may it be psychedelic or not, but this festival, this extraordinary festival experience, how can you integrate that in your own life? As I mentioned, if you're curious about support regarding the integration of maybe even refining and defining your core values and your vision for life so you can live a life in your day-to-day aligned with who you truly are, then check out the link in the video description. That's the landing page for my coaching offer. And if it resonates, we can have a chat about that. Whew, thank you very much. Wow. Oh, I love you all and see you in the next one.